Howdy, people, and welcome to the 14th Chugcratic Extracurricular Seminar. Joining me today is the Dean of Fabrication, DefinitelyNotChar.
Pleasure to be here as always.
And our very own Headmaster, Kit Katastrophe.
We've had 14 of these. If you're still struggling with your GPA, you have no excuse.
So how are we all today?
I'm all right.
You know how I am. I'm exhausted. I went to Six Flags yesterday.
How was it?
Packed and hot, kind of miserable. I didn't do a whole lot.
I'm pretty decent. I didn't get to mention this because I was unfortunately late for our last proper seminar, but I got myself the reissue G1 Optimus Prime. It's pretty cool having one on my desk.
What, the one from like 2019, 2020?
No, the one the Toon Colors one.
Oh, I honestly forgot that existed.
Yeah. They had the Toon Colors one for 20% off at Battersea Power Station when I went for the event, and so I was like, okay, might as well. And so I got myself one because he was 60 quid, which is basically the price of a leader these days. So pretty cool figure. Yeah, G1 Optimus Prime. I don't know if it's sort of redundant to say G1 Optimus Prime is a good figure, but it is.
Well, for me, after missing Link Convoy, any desire I might have had to get a G1 Optimus Prime, vintage or otherwise, it's sort of faded away now.
That's entirely reasonable, and I maintain my analogy that missing Link is like the director's cut of G1 Optimus Prime, if G1 Optimus Prime is the theatrical cut.
Fair deal, I guess. I mean, I could understand the appeal of having one either way. So then, let's talk about a recent fan poll that Hasbro held a few weeks ago now. The Activate Your Alt Mode fan poll. So, the basic concept of this poll was that fans could choose one of 4 characters, and following that, they got to decide what alt mode the character should have, and ideally it'd be one that you wouldn't normally associate with said character. I believe this is the first fan poll, or at least the first Hasbro fan poll that they've held since 2019, correct?
Yeah, I guess it would be.
That?
This right here was basically the schedule of the time. The first week was all about deciding the character. We started off with 2 Autobots, 2 Decepticons, and the winning character from each faction would go up against each other. The second week, we got to decide the alt mode category, and then the week after that, the alt mode type. It wasn't until the 17th of September in which they showed off, I guess, the initial concept of the winning vote. Like we knew the winning vote not long after the 3rd week ended, but only recently have we seen images of what they're going for. And I guess the first thing to talk about really is, was this the best? Like I said, this is the first fan poll they've had in roughly 6 years. And was this the best concept for a fan vote after so long? Because I think if there's one thing that most fans will agree on at this point, is that Transformers is in need of a lot of variety, and this fan vote, I'd say, is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I thought it was cute,
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know. I have been very unprofessional and not looked at the slides ahead of time, so I don't know if we're going to talk about the specific choices for the the specific results and implications and all that. But
we will, John. We will.
I do think this was a good choice. I think they were intentionally they were intentionally trying to get us to make something kind of left field.
Yeah, and it's just a good way to spice up an old character that hasn't had a whole lot of variety, you know.
Well, I want to get into that, specifically Shockwave, but we'll get into that later. But yeah,
I'm not necessarily saying it succeeded in that. Just that it was an opportunity.
It was yes. I see where you're coming from. Yes, this was an opportunity to get a new and very distinct take on an existing character.
It's not Hasbro's fault that the fandom collectively latched onto some piece of fan art as their end goal.
This is true. And also, but yeah, the content of the vote itself, the idea behind it, totally happy with it. I think my stance on reinterpretations of characters is, at least in terms of design, is very well established now.
Honestly, I think they should do something like this every year and just eliminate past winners,
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. I think that'd be pretty great. I wouldn't mind that taking up a slot, in whatever line every year or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're not going to make original characters, then this is the least they could do, I suppose.
Yes, exactly.
But there is another element to this that I'm not sure is often talked about, and I know this sounds kind of hyperbolic, but it feels like this is the first fan poll in a long time that actually has stakes to it, if that makes any sense. Because
I get where you're coming from.
Because like the last one we had in 2019 was that War for Cybertron trilogy poll where we had to decide which one of 4 characters would be getting a toy. It was Run Amok, Sharktacon, Shrapnel, and Needlenose, and the winning vote was Run Amok. Now, in hindsight, I think it's safe to say that it was more of a case of which character would be getting a toy first.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we would get the rest of them down the line. And granted, we had to wait a few years for the rest to come out, but we still got them in the end. With this poll, with the multiple characters, alt mode categories, and alt mode types presented, there were so many directions they could have gone in. And while, like you said, it's possible that they may revisit this in the future, I highly doubt that Hasbro would be able or even willing to cover every single possibility out there in regards to the choices we were presented with. What I'm getting at is that it feels like once the final vote was decided, that was it.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. This felt more akin to the Windblade fan vote, the fan character fan vote from 2013, where it wasn't just that we were picking what toy would be released first. It was we were actually being consulted in the design process of something. And if we chose something, that's our final choice, basically.
I mean, again, I wouldn't exactly be against them revisiting this concept, but I don't think they would produce, like I said, I don't think they would produce every single choice we were presented with. Like, I don't think we get, say, Shockwave in various land, sea, wild card, and air. Like various designs in those categories. Like to cover all of that would take forever, with each of the 4 characters we were presented with.
Well, I'm glad that wasn't what I was suggesting.
What were you suggesting?
Oh, they just, do the same vote, but with different characters.
Yeah. So I think
just give different characters a shot each year.
Yeah. Basically like do the same thing, but with a different character.
Yeah.
So we get a new interpretation of an old character once every year.
Say next year they do this again, and it'd be like the Autobots would be like Sideswipe and Sea Spray versus like Thundercracker and Vortex, something like that.
But just a quick question. If they didn't revisit this, what concept would you guys have had for a fan vote instead?
You know, that's an interesting question. Off the top of my head, I would have, outside of like the things that we've had so far, which is create an OC and the alt mode here, which are like the two most obvious things, really. I would have gone with pick a theme and a character.
What does that mean?
So you get a character, so you vote on a character, and then you vote on like what kind of theme they're going to be designed around. So like you know how Bludgeon is themed around a samurai.
Yeah.
So you would have something like that. So you would have like, would you want a samurai or a cowboy or fucking World War II, something like that. Those are the themes I can come up with off the top of my head. They wouldn't really say World War II. They'd say like historical or like military vehicle. You know what I mean, though? Like redesign a character not with a specific alt mode in mind, but with a specific theme in mind.
Well, I mean, they were willing to address World War II Bumblebee and Hot Rod in Studio Series as from World War II, but I guess maybe they'd go with historical for the fan vote.
Yeah, they probably. I mean, the reason it's World War II is I am willing to say that they would probably prefer to say historical or military rather than explicitly say World War II themed, because that's a whole can of worms. The reason they brought up World War II is because Michael Bay wanted to put World War II in the movie, so and
I guess my idea wouldn't be that dissimilar, except instead of, I guess, choosing a theme, it would be more choosing the continuity that character is from. Like, admittedly, this is probably just an excuse for me to get more Beast Wars characters. But like, if someone were to choose Beast Wars and then choose like Maximal or Predacon, and then pick a series of alt modes that hadn't been done in Beast Wars before, there you go.
I see.
As for me, it'd probably be like similar to that, but you'd pick like Hasbro would like list a bunch of alt modes that have never been done before in Transformers, and then they'd have rounds of voting to build a character based around whatever alt mode gets picked. It'd be an OC, but the alt mode would come first.
I mean, the thing is, when you say alt modes, do you mean like general vehicles, or do you mean like specific things?
Specific things.
Okay, so like specific models of car or like boat or things like that then.
Yeah, I had an idea in mind. Like okay, so like what if one of the options was like a theme park ride, like a Scrambler or something, or an Enterprise?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like something like really weird. Really weird.
Okay, yeah, I like it. I don't know how you would make a theme like a roller coaster. I presume you're imagining a roller coaster.
No, I'm imagining like flat rides. Something like relatively compact.
Okay, I was gonna say, how the hell would you make a roller coaster?
No, that would you could have one turn into a train, maybe.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't see how that would work, unless their alt mode was a fucking hallucinogenia or something, or robot mode, I should say.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, all I'm thinking is, what would you get a Titan size class set where you get a giant roller coaster and then the little figure's just a core class or something?
Okay, so I'm gonna post an image in the chat that I guess you could edit into the final thing. But like the only way I could imagine like something turning into a roller coaster would be if this was the robot mode, and all of those spikes and limbs would turn into like the supports or something.
Oh yeah, I see.
That's the only way I can imagine that working. But no, I was thinking of something like an Enterprise, which is basically like a giant disc on an arm. You could Cosmos that, you know?
God, that thing looks creepy.
Cambrian explosion was wild.
We love the Cambrian explosion. Oh yeah, hallucinogenia. Or Telemonster, you know. Telemonster's a great one.
Now let's talk about the characters we were presented with. We had Grimlock versus Mirage, Starscream versus Shockwave. Grimlock won the Autobot poll, but Shockwave won both the Decepticon and obviously the character poll as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the only real question to ask was, were these four the best choices for this fan vote? Because I can understand them not including the obvious names like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron, because the franchise is oversaturated with them enough as is. Although personally, I think Starscream comes dangerously close to that as well.
I think Starscream was a worthwhile addition to this because he's only ever been a jet. It's not like how Optimus and Megatron have so many toys where they turn into things other than a truck or a gun/tank. They've had plenty of alt mode variety over the years, so I don't think they need to be included in this vote. But Starscream, as popular as he is, he's only ever been one thing his entire existence, and that's just various flavors of jet.
So is Grimlock to a degree.
Yeah, it's just Starscream has so many more toys of him.
That's true.
That yeah.
But I think bar one of these characters, they all did quite well in that they are taking a character who is normally associated with one particular vehicle. So you have Grimlock, he's always a dinosaur. You have Mirage, he's always a race car. Starscream is always a jet. And so, were these to be the winner, having them be something else would be very unique and out of left field. Of course, the problem with this being that Shockwave was the winner, and Shockwave is, in my opinion, probably the least worthy. No, that's not right because the least.
Hear that, everyone? Char says Shockwave's worthless.
No, I said worthy, not worthless. I think that he was the least interesting choice for this particular vote because he has no set alt mode to begin with. Shockwave ever since G1, and he kind of got the Megatron treatment where ever since G1 he's kind of just been having a floating alt mode because they can't really make him a gun again. Or they don't want to make him a gun again. They can make him a gun. They just because he's not a realistic gun. There's less issues, but they still don't want to. And that has meant
what are you talking about? He's always been a submarine.
That's true. You're right. But regardless, Shockwave has been everything from a walker to a satellite to a tank to a jet to everything. And so any alt mode that you give Shockwave is inherently going to be less unorthodox because he doesn't have an orthodox alt mode.
I can see that. Yeah, I too was also going to bring up the fact that with Shockwave's original form being practically illegal to reproduce, at least in Hasbro markets, they kind of have to vary things up with him a little bit.
I wouldn't say in Shockwave's case it's necessarily illegal. I mean, things like Nerf do exist. I think it's just inconvenient for Hasbro. Especially since, given the scale of modern Transformers toys, you would have to make him rather big if you wanted to make him into a role-play toy. I think it's more so that Hasbro is generally hesitant to make Chug toys into role-play, have role-play alt modes, which is what Shockwave and Megatron have. They're guns. They turn into weapons. And so if you advertise them as turning into weapons, kids are going to want to be able to hold them in their hand, and so you've got to make them a certain size so that bits of the handle's big enough. And I think it's just easier for them not to make them that and make them something else, or not advertise them as that, rather than being necessarily a legal issue.
Well, I mean, with Megatron, it's certainly a legal issue, given that his original alt mode was a specific type, like an actual brand of gun. But even taking into account that Shockwave's original form was a laser pistol, toy gun laws have gotten a lot stricter, at least on the Hasbro side of things. And anything like I'm pretty sure even when it comes to Nerf guns, they have to be very careful what they put out.
Are Nerf guns legal in the UK?
Nerf guns are legal in the UK, yeah.
Oh, you learn something.
Well, yeah, I know, but we're talking primarily US markets, and what comes out over there usually comes out over here too.
Yeah, they got to be super duper stylized.
Yeah,
fancy colors.
I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if you'd have to give it an orange tip. I don't know. They probably just don't want to use the orange tip, and so they advertise it as a submarine instead of a gun. The point is, a quote-unquote unorthodox alt mode for a character who has already been orphaned from their alt mode is, in my opinion, a little redundant and kind of boring.
Yeah, that's probably why I was so underwhelmed when he won.
Yeah.
Not to say that Shockwave doesn't deserve new toys.
I think that's another problem. I think that is another problem, is that like part of this will always have an element of what character does the fandom think is most deserving of a new toy, regardless of the nature of the poll. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like no matter who they picked, there would have been an element of that.
Yeah.
Like imagine if one of the options was like, I don't know, Outback or Cosmos or something. Everyone's like, oh, the Legacy Cosmos rare. He needs new toy.
True. Yes, but such is the nature of the fandom, unfortunately.
The other side to this that a select few people may be wondering is, would the alt mode make sense for the character based on their personality? Because on the one hand, you do have to question why certain characters would take on specific alt modes, but is that just the fandom getting locked into their own ideas and putting the limits on creativity, or at least what could potentially make for a fun toy?
I don't know. I thought the whole point of this was because it would be funny if they turn into something they don't normally turn into.
Yeah.
I know I never really considered what would fit the character. I just thought what would be cool to me.
Given how given how broad the categories for alt modes were, I do feel like the designers would have had the latitude to make whatever character got picked give them an appropriate alt mode. Like, for instance, if Mirage had been picked and they had chosen a aquatic alt mode, they could have made him a speedboat or a tuna, What? Tunas are fast. Tunas are really, really fast.
Yeah. But on the other hand, imagine if they turned Starscream into like a backhoe or like an ATV. That would be so funny.
That would be funny. Okay, that's fair. There is like an appeal in of itself to just making something that's entirely out of character for them.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is probably what would have happened.
Oh my god! Now I'm just imagining like an entire Devastator made out of Seekers.
At that point, you're just asking for a repaint of the Constructicons.
No, they still have to look like the Seekers.
Okay, a retool of the Constructicons.
Not good enough. They need to all be new molds. They need to turn into construction vehicles that the original Constructicons don't turn into. Like a pile driver crane or I don't know construction vehicles. That was
I mean, the thing is that the Constructicons are kind of exhaustive when it comes to like construction vehicles.
No, but they need to turn into weird ones. Like imagine if like there was one that turned into like the little tiny bulldozer that like is like barely as tall as a man.
Uh-huh.
One of those.
Or you could have a road layer.
Yeah, steamroller.
No, well, yeah, a steamroller, but also like I'm thinking of like one of those vehicles that's like specifically meant to lay down the tar, the tarmac. Have you not seen those?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but yes. A construction seeker combiner made of entirely unorthodox construction vehicles.
Yeah. They can still have a dump truck, but it can't look like long haul.
They got to make one of those articulated dump trucks.
Yeah, and actually articulate it, unlike freaking Studio Series Overload.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're getting off topic.
What I was talking about regarding characterization is that you have things like Grimlock, who is a bot who is defined by his strength and brutality. So, would fans just be amused if he took on a more weedy alt mode, or would they complain?
I think there would be a lot of variety in opinion. I'm sure there would be people who liked it. I'm sure there would be people who were critical of it. But what I think would happen is that the designers would try and find an unorthodox alt mode that would still be fitting. Like, I don't know, a big ATV, an ATV again. An ATV or a tank or a...
Grimlock turns into an ant.
Inferno retool.
Yeah. He turns into an ant because they can lift like 5 times their body weight.
Mirage being in this poll for me is somewhat underwhelming, considering in Cyberworld he turns into a jet. Granted, he's a Starscream pre-tool, but it's still a new alt mode for him.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about Cyberworld.
Me neither.
I watched like 2 episodes of the cartoon and that was it.
It definitely feels very... It feels very targeted at a very young audience. Which there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but not really much for me in there.
But
feels like it's like, what if the Transformers were dropped into Fortnite?
Yeah, it's more like I'm not sure like the average fan knows that Mirage is even in Cyberworld, is what I was trying to say.
That's true.
In any case, you might have answered this already, but what characters would you have had?
Oh, if I was in charge of this?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think all of these were pretty solid picks for like a first go with this idea. Though I sort of kind of expected Soundwave to be in here. Probably replacing Starscream, considering that he is also a bit orphaned from his typical alt mode, even though he's still getting like tons of toys for it. He gets roughly as many toys where he's not a tape deck where he is. But then again, maybe that's why he wasn't included.
Well, I mean, even taking out the whole tape deck thing, there's also the fact that fans would probably want a variation of his usual gimmick, where if he was like, I don't know, a train, for example, the fans would probably want him to come with coaches that represent his normal cassette minions.
But as for the choices we got, the only one I was really surprised by was Mirage. Like, if they were including an Autobot car, Mirage was not the first one I would have expected to pick. I would have expected them to pick like Prowl or Sideswipe over Mirage.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that pick, but it is a little.
He sticks out.
I suppose, yeah. He's not as big of a name as the rest of the characters here.
Yeah. Like when I think Autobot car, the first one I think of is always Sideswipe.
Mm-hmm. Well, he kind of is like the quintessential Autobot car. But yeah, honestly, if I was doing this vote, I think all of these are fine, except I know I keep harping on it, but I would have tried to go for characters who are very associated with particular alt modes. And so if I was redoing this, I probably would have kept everyone except for Shockwave. And I would have swapped him out for... Well, it's kind of difficult because a lot of the Decepticon cast, the main Decepticon cast, don't really have... They're all kind of orphaned from their alt modes. Megatron is Megatron. Shockwave has the similar problem. Nobody knows what a cassette deck is anymore, and Starscream's already on the vote. So you'd have to go to a B-lister Decepticon like...
My pick would be Astro Train.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Astro Train's a good one. Would that mean
I feel like he's... Like, my gut says he's like the most famous B-lister, even though I have nothing to back that up. And it'd be kind of funny if he turns into something that's not in his name.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's neither Astro nor Train.
He turned into a submarine and a car.
No, he just turns into one of those. He's not even a triple changer.
Oh, yeah.
He turns into, like, a spider.
That'd be pretty cool.
For me, I'm thinking Sideswipe or possibly even Hot Rod.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, Hot Rod's a good pick.
Yeah.
And for the Decepticons, I'd actually go to some of the 1986 cast. What about Galvatron, Cyclonus, or Scourge?
I think Scourge has a lot of potential for different alt modes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, could you imagine if he turned into, like, a Nautilus and transformed to, like, Beast Wars Neo Dead End?
What, just because he's a shell former?
Yeah. Or he could turn or he could turn into like a turtle. It has the shell, it has the fins.
Oh yeah.
He could be like a sea turtle.
What, and the whole head popping out of the shell thing.
Yes. Oh, this is perfect.
Oh man. Well, I think we've gone over the characters enough now, wouldn't you say?
I'd say so, yes.
Yes.
Basically, Shockwave won the vote, as we've established. And with that, we were presented with the following alt mode categories: Land, Air, Sea, and Wildcard. And within each of those categories, Land had Supercar, Train, Truck, and Creature. Air had Jet, Helicopter, Airship, and Creature. Sea had Hovercraft, Speedboat, Submarine, and Creature. And Wildcard had Weapon, Starfighter Device, and Creature. C won the second week, and obviously Creature won the third. And what's interesting is that for a while I heard that the wild card category was in the lead, and I'm just going to say, if you thought that this was how they were going to get Shockwave as a laser pistol, get with the times already.
It would have been so funny. Also, the Siege one still turns into the laser pistol. You just got to turn it upside down, and he's right there. Just get the Siege toy.
It's true. It's true. I mean, What is there really to say about the categories? It would have been funny if Starscream won, and then they picked Air, and he would have just been a jet anyway.
I really hope they know better than that.
No, they make him a Russian jet instead of an American jet this time. They make him a fish bed.
Oh,
I mean,
technically, there's
like
already a Starscream toy that turns into a Russian jet, and it's the Botcom Machine Royce version.
That's true. I mean, I would like that. I would consider that unique because that's a totally different jet. But for the average person, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this? This is just Starscream as a jet again." But yes, they didn't do that. It would have been funny to have someone else be a hovercraft besides Sea Spray.
Yeah, I picked Air. I wasn't really super enthused that Shockwave won, so I just kind of picked Air just to pick something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd make a cool fighter jet guy. You know,
I mean, they already did that though.
When?
Cybertron games.
That's different. He's like a flying cannon. No, like I'm talking an actual Earth jet. He would be cool as one.
What would you have liked? What would you have voted for if Mirage had won? Sorry, dog's being a creature.
That was a good. Probably C. The speedboat is really compelling.
I'm glad I put that idea in your head.
Yeah, but I was kind of pissed off at this point because everyone was like trying to AstroTurf the whole Spinosaurus.
Well, it wouldn't be AstroTurfing, but yeah, I know what you mean. Should we get into that now? Do we want to get into that now?
I think this is probably the most relevant time to talk about it.
So yeah, basically, there was this whole thing going on where the fandom, upon seeing a piece of artwork of Shockwave that turned into a Spinosaurus, they immediately jumped on the idea based solely on the artwork. And to be fair, personally, I thought the artwork looked cool.
It is a very... Go ahead, Rick.
But unfortunately, it being fan art was the problem. They can't do that.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans were probably somewhat naive in assuming that they could copy the design.
They probably just told themselves, "Oh, third party does it all the time. Why can't Hasbro?"
Yeah, and the problem I have is that yes, the art is very good, and the art is very cool, but the idea of a Shockwave that turns into a Spinosaurus in of itself isn't particularly clever or interesting. It's just Shockwave that turns into a Spinosaurus. What makes it good is the quality of the design itself, because it's made by a very, very talented artist.
Yeah, the amazing Spino, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what the amazing, like, don't get no disrespect to him. He's one of the best artists out there in the fandom, but the design just does nothing for me. And it rubbed me the wrong way how everyone was so gung-ho about trying to get this thing made for real.
Have you seen Spino's other Shockwave design?
He did the Opabinia one, right?
Was
that him, or was that someone else?
No, I think that was someone else. No, what Spino did was a version of Shockwave that is a duocon, but it's a duocon down the middle.
Oh, like Omega, like Energon Omega Supreme.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It turns in, and the two halves turn into two different tanks. On one side, it is the mouse heavy tank. And on the other side, it is I believe a modern German concept tank that never got produced, but it was based on that.
Let me see.
What was the name of the artist again?
Oh, I see. Oh my god, that looks so cool. I found it.
Post it in the chat.
Oh, that is so cool. I even love how like his head is half and half.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure if this is meant to be like, oh, it's armor and like one half is showing the armor removed and one half showing the armor on, or if it is actually meant to be a down the middle duocon. But either way, it's very cool.
Yeah, I like that.
But like, I feel like this goes to show that the Amazing Spino is a very talented artist. And so in no way are we insulting the artwork or the artist or the artwork himself. We are just frustrated, or at least myself and Kit. I can't speak for Rune. But myself and Kit are very frustrated with the fandom basically trying to will a piece of fan art into being a toy.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, there was a attempted toy line based on his work already. It was Trojan Horse Studio, and unfortunately, didn't sell well enough.
Was it the Waspinator that turns into a helicopter?
It was, yes.
Oh, I wish I got that one, but I heard it was really fragile.
So, from what I have heard, it was. I really want to get the figure because I want to experience it for myself. I know people keep saying that it's bad. One of the reasons people give is that the plastic itself feels weird. It feels like it. From what I've been told, it bends too much and feels almost oily.
Mm.
It's not the Chuggium that we're used to. But like I said, I want to get the figure for myself to get a better understanding, and also because I really like the design. I think it's a shame that the toy line never went anywhere else because they had a whole lineup of the figures they wanted to do, but they never got to because the first toy flopped, unfortunately. And got such bad reviews. I think his Waspinator design was a very strange place to start as well. Like, why Waspinator of all characters? Like, I like, it's not a bad character, it's not a bad design, but it seems like the kind of thing where if you're trying to make a flagship figure, it's an odd choice.
Maybe it was just that the fan art was so recognizable, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. But I kind of doubt it. Because I think I know why. It's because they were trying to go for the niche that they wanted to go for was what if the Beast Wars characters were Bayverse style Transformers, because that was Spino's niche. He started a new line that's like entirely a different aesthetic, but that was his niche before. Was redesigning characters in a kind of Bayverse-esque aesthetic. I think that was what they wanted to go for, and they just started with Waspinator because it's Waspinator, and he's one of the most well-known characters from Beast Wars.
Yeah.
That would be my intuition. That's my educated guess.
Of these choices presented, the only thing, when it comes to Shockwave at least, that fans, I don't know whether they take issue with, is possibly a helicopter, because, like, even ignoring how we got Cloud Shockwave as a recolor of Thrilling 30 Whirl, there have also been fans clamoring for a version of Shockwave from the 2007 live-action movie video game.
Oh, that would have been cool. The video game characters need more love.
They certainly do. I keep hearing, guys, next year we're getting leader class movie Warpath. It's totally happening.
A Studio Series Breakaway just flew over my house.
You're gonna love what I picked for you, Char, in the next Chug wishlist episode, then.
Okay.
I'm just looking at all these other options and thinking what else could have suited Shockwave. Because things like Airship, again, I'm thinking that would be something better suited to Scourge if he was included in this poll.
I think that would be cheating.
That is basically his Hearts of Steel design, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also this wasn't how we were going to get Hearts of Steel Shockwave, by the way.
Also, imagine if they did do an airship and they did it the way the Scourge design worked, where you had to actually inflate it.
I can just imagine, like, you're watching like the PR video of it, and he's just like, "Okay, everyone, now you just gotta pucker up and blow and you inflate your Scourge toy." No disrespect to PR, it'd just be really funny to watch a YouTuber go through that.
Maybe it should be you, Kit.
No, you're just gonna get a time lapse video.
Is no one gonna think to get out a bicycle pump?
You think Transformers fans own bicycles? Come on, Char.
I own a bicycle.
Shut up.
I don't have a car. I have to use a bicycle.
I guess, like, the only other thing that you could argue puts the limits on what they could do is the fact that although the alt mode they're taking on is a new one, they're still being faithful to the character's traditional robot mode design for the most part.
Yeah.
Like when they did Alternity Starscream, for example, even though he turned into a car, they still engineered the toy so that he would have his wings in robot mode.
Mm.
Yeah, I really need to get that toy. It looks so freaky.
I need to get more. I shouldn't say I need to get certain toys because space is a premium for me, but it would be interesting to get that toy. Because it was because Alternity was honestly a pretty cool novelty when it comes to like alternator style toys, because they were like a whole different scale.
Yeah.
So are we ready to move on?
Yep.
Yes.
So just to recap so far, the winning character was Shockwave, the winning alt mode category was C, and the winning alt mode type was a creature. Like I said, it took a while for the initial concept art from Hasbro to come out, but we eventually got it on the 17th of September. And what did we get? Proof that Hasbro have a very dry sense of humor.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people predicted that he would be a whale before the final result was revealed. God, imagine if this is how he comes back in the comics.
That'd be great. I'd be down for that. But also a whale. I actually really like this. I know I've been complaining a shit ton, but I actually really like this design.
Yeah, this is to my knowledge, our first whale transformer that isn't a Fusor.
There was that one base.
But that's not like a character though. That's just a base.
That's true.
Well, at the very least, we can say we've never had this specific whale before.
Correct.
But yeah, from a design perspective, I really like this actually. I like the whale mode. I like that it has a Cyclops eye, like his robot mode. I like how the gun has been worked into his mouth as like a laser blast mouth, like Godzilla. That's really cool.
I'm a fire in my laser.
I'm a fire in my laser. Rah! Yeah, no, I've been a massive sourpuss so far this episode, but I really like this design.
Yeah, the alt mode is properly elongated in the spirit of his original laser pistol mode.
Oh yes, he does. He does seem to transform very similarly, doesn't he?
You know who else he transforms similar to?
Who, really?
Skybite.
Oh yeah.
But fear not, this will be a completely new mold and not an Age of the Prime Skybite retool. Because it's not the exact same transformation, but it is fairly similar in how the mouth and underbelly form the legs. But unlike Skybite, the arms merge into the whale's tail. But yeah, I still think this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm gonna be honest though, I didn't really like Skybite all that much, so I'm not super excited for this one.
Well, I mean, why didn't you like Skybite? Because maybe Shockwave won't have any of the issues you may have with Skybite.
I don't know. I just didn't think the transformation was all that fun, and Shockwave does seem to alleviate the kibble problems at least. Also, the first copy of my Skybite came broken, so that probably colored my opinion of him.
I mean, I like Skybite. Having owned the original toy, I think transforming the new Skybite is a lot smoother than transforming the old one.
And he also doesn't have those loose clips, those loose C clips.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
But I mean, with this Shockwave, I don't think, like you said, Kit, I don't think he'll have any of those kibble problems whatsoever. I'm not even sure what size class he's going to be. I can't see him being anything smaller than a Voyager, at least.
Yeah. I could see him being a leader. I'd quite like that, actually. If for no other reason than to just further distance him from Skybite.
And I don't know if you can make this out, like in the top right or near the top right. It looks like they're trying to work in some sort of satellite mode.
It looks like a piece. It looks like it more to me like they've got. Oh no, I see what it is. It's not a satellite mode. It's not a separate mode. It's a view of the tail and like how he can shoot lasers from his tail as well. I think.
Yeah, they're probably just gonna make him like blast effect compatible.
Mm-hmm.
And it also looks like they might include like torpedo and depth charge blast effects in the bottom right.
I would certainly be excited for that. I think that'd be very cool. Though I feel like that's just concept design and not actually going to be included.
Yeah, maybe that's just like the intended like imagination play pattern.
Yeah. I guess that's what the greeblage is meant to be in the mind of the designers.
Yeah.
Which I quite like. I quite like seeing this little glimpse into the designers' minds. One thing I will say, you know, the current Hasbro designers do get a lot of shit, but I think when they're given reign to like actually make new designs and not just try and figure out how to make show models into actual toys, they can do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I and another thing, I kind of wish like this like concept artwork like could make its way to like final releases of toys in like the like imagine if they like printed some of these drawings in the instruction booklets or something. I think that would be really cool.
I mean, you know, we could go the whole art toy hog and just include a document about the toy's design in every single figure.
Still, I just think there's something missing from modern Transformers. It all feels very by the numbers right now, and you know, part of that's that we just don't get bios anymore. But if that's still to continue, I would prefer to just see more artwork of the characters.
I mean, in my opinion, it's largely a symptom of accuracy becoming the name of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
Still, I'd really wish for bios to come back. because first and foremost, kids gotta figure out who these characters are in the first place anyway. And what better way to do that than just reading the back of the box on the way home from Walmart or wherever they got it? Second, they could write like a little mini story on the bio of this of this box to explain why he's a whale, and I think that would be funny.
I mean, what 12-year-old is going to know that Skybite writes haikus?
Yeah, exactly. Like they'd have to go to the wiki for that.
But wasn't that kind of acknowledged within RID itself, a show aimed for a demographic younger than 12?
Well, what I mean
yeah,
is...
but that show is 25 years old now.
Yeah, that's, you know... The thing is, what kid these days is likely to see Skybite on the shelf and have gone back and watched RID and know, oh, that's Skybite, and he writes haikus, you know. As much as I like the character, there's not much about his design to tell you that.
Yeah, it's more just Transformers over relies on previous recognition to sell toys.
It relies
like
on
they just stopped trying to market them to new people entirely.
Pretty much.
It's like who the hell is Venom? No one knows. I don't even think 40-year-olds know who he is as a character. This is the perfect opportunity to give him some sort of characterization.
Well, I think they were more for Venom. They're probably relying more on the colorful, creepy, crawly thing, but who knows?
Still, I just think something is very seriously lost by not having bios.
Definitely for people getting into the toy line, as in children, you know, who may become Transformers fans in the future potentially. Because of course we know who Venom is. We know who all these guys are. We know them.
We know what Venom is. We don't know who Venom is.
That's true.
Let's be honest.
That's fair. But like, okay, for the characters that actually have character, we know who they are. We don't need to be told. But,
like we know who Gears is. We've seen changing Gears, and like, sure, you could say that the episode's free on YouTube now, but like, you have to know that first and foremost. Kids don't know, capital K know that.
I guess one more thing to go over with Shockwave as a whale is, of course, he is entirely mechanical whale. Do you think it was good that they went that route, or would you prefer something more organic?
I think mechanical is the right way to go.
I agree. I like the mechanical aesthetic.
If they were doing like a specifically Beast Wars themed fan vote, then yeah, go organic.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah. I don't think anyone wouldn't, as long as like that was like the theme going into it. But since it's just like, oh, just make him turn into something else, it'd be kind of weird if like they had like 4 different like, for instance, like if they like did like rough sketches of like the 4 different C options, and like 3 of them were mechanical and just the whale was organic. I think that would just be a little weird.
But of course, there were other concepts they had considered for Shockwave being a sea creature of some kind, which brings us to this. Because apparently they had also considered him to be a shark, a manta ray, or a squid, or ideally, Sharkwave, manta wave, or Shockwood. Everybody's illogical except me.
Oh, I like Shockwave just for being Shockwave now. God damn it.
The shark one, I really like the design of his lower legs, and it's a bit criminal that we're not getting that in real life. And honestly, you could easily retool that into a fighter jet. Like,
You know what it reminds me of?
Hmm.
It reminds me of the Gao machines from Genesis Gao Gai Ga, the fish-looking ones.
Hmm.
Let me show you.
Never seen that. But yeah, I also like how the shark one is pretty asymmetrical. It reminds me a lot of Shock Blast actually from Energon.
Honestly, this Shockwave as a shark, I mean, I guess fans wouldn't care regardless, but it honestly looks too much like a submarine. With how mechanical it is and how it doesn't really have an actual face, just the mono eye. In which case,
there's no like opening mouth like the whale.
In which case, they may as well just try and pass it off as a pre-tool of Energon's Sharkticon.
To be honest, I kind of hope that they revisit that design for a Sharkticon redo, because I would definitely be interested. You know, if I found it on sale.
I quite like the propeller design on the Manta Wave.
I was just about to segue to that. That's so cool.
Yeah, I would hope if they made that as a figure, they would pin that so it could spin.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
It also looks like maybe the legs turn into the fins. I really like that.
Yes, I think they do. I think that was the what they were going for.
Very wingspan of them.
Yes.
I think the squid is probably the least interesting of these three.
I mean, despite Rune's creative naming, unfortunately.
It looks like they pretty much just aped Beast Wars 2nd Scuba's transformation for that one.
Yeah.
Well, there's only so many ways to do a squid.
I've also heard like some people bring up the fact that this could be how we get a toy of the squid that Cup and Hot Rod fight in the Transformers the movie.
It was just Shockwave.
It was just Shockwave. It was one of many Shockwave's alt modes.
Oh, that squid showed up in the newest issue of Void Rivals, by the way.
Oh.
Some people from Cobra Law fight the Robo Squid on Quintessa. It's pretty neat.
And as for the manta ray, looking at the design, there were before that design showed up, there was the theory going around that Shockwave would be a manta ray because it would allow them to do a pre-tool of depth charge, and I'm not sure I'd be happy with that because to me that would cheapen the whole thing.
Yeah.
And besides, the design that we're actually seeing looks nothing like depth charge anyway. So
that's
what I mean. I'm glad that they went this route instead of just making him basically depth charge's body type just in Shockwave's colors and features.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy with that, even though now that I am thinking of it, they do have rather similar body types.
Because like Shockwave's chest is wide enough to lend itself to the manta ray's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Have either of y'all seen a manta ray in person?
Well, I mean, I mean
aquarium.
I mean Transformers depiction of manta rays. I know they're
No, I was just asking for curiosity's sake.
I think I've seen one at an aquarium before.
I went to the Georgia Aquarium a couple weeks ago, and man, you are not prepared for how big they are. Oh my god.
Oh no, I think they had like the pool with the baby ones that you could touch.
I don't think those are manta rays though.
Are they?
Those might have just been regular old rays.
Ah.
Rays come in all shapes and sizes, Char.
I see.
Georgia Aquarium also has a whale shark.
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
Freaking huge.
That is pretty cool.
I'd love to go back someday.
So with that, I think we've covered just about everything. One final question: are we getting the toy when it comes out?
It depends on how expensive it is. I've already said that I'm really cutting back on Chug starting next year.
Yep, same here. Depends how expensive it is. Depends how well they actually translate that design into plastic. I'm not gonna make any.
I'm sure the toy will turn out fine. It's just I don't know if I want to spend like $60 on it. You know, actually, $60 for a liter is like the least offensive thing about the new price hikes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're £60 here, and that's like what, $75?
Yeah. Like, I'm the least mad about the liters. I'm just way more mad about the Voyagers and Deluxes.
I'm of the policy that I don't buy new Chug unless it's something that's like, unless it's something that I consider to be exceptionally good.
Yeah, right now, I'm just in the business of completing all the little mini collections that I'm like halfway through completing. And after that, it's just pick and choose. I might go for the Seekers, but that's the only thing I can really see myself going for, depending on how good they turn out to be.
The next thing that I feel like I have that I'm almost certainly going to get is going to be Commander Class Armada Jetfire, and that is mainly because I want to do Jet Prime.
Yeah, if they do him, I'd have to think about it.
I mean, jet power convoy with knees. It's a pretty cool concept. He's still going to have the thing head, but that can be solved with 3D printing. And I don't know, maybe the shield will make the proportions look less blocky. But we'll see. I think it's basically it's all but confirmed now that they're doing Commander Class Armada Jetfire.
Well, let's hope. But in the meantime, thank you both for joining me for this extracurricular once again.
Thank you very much for setting this up, Brim, as always.
This was, I guess, an interesting change of pace instead of toy reveals or discussing individual figures that are out now. The next main Chugcratic seminar will be our third Chug Wishlist episode where we pick things for ourselves and each other. So that'll be fun.
Yes.
In the meantime, this has been the Dean of Critique, Runestone.
This has been the headmaster of the School of Athenia, Kit Katastrophe.
And the Dean of Fabrication, definitely not Char.
Class dismissed.